So, this is something I wanted to talk about for a really long time. A lot of people, talk to me about this, and there is just something also Lilith instructed me to essentially say to people. So, there was a really terrifying incident which happened to me a few days ago. So, I was dreaming and I was in a school of some sort, talking to a bunch of esoteric Christian magicians about demons. And in the middle of my speech, I was forcefully woken up by Lilith. And there was a weird incident. So I was able to move, I was able to do everything, I was completely aware, but I wasn't able to speak. And Lilith was speaking into my thoughts through her own essence. And there was a really interesting and powerful message there. So, in the last few of my videos, I essentially talked about how working with demons is dangerous and how you need to pay the demons to work for you, or you need to learn how to do magic yourself, that the demons don't give anything for free, and that they are not necessarily caring beings. But what Lilith tried to explain to me is that everything I claimed was true, but I skipped over one really important part. Demons do actually care about you if they are your patrons. They simply don't care about you in a way you consider to be caring. You see, we humans are accustomed to think that whoever gives you pleasure is caring about you, and whoever gives you pain is harming you. And that is a flawed reasoning, because this world is cruel and you need to experience pain in order to be ready for the world. So when demons are testing you and giving you a hard time, they are doing it out of love, not out of hate. They are doing it because this world is much harsher and much more cruel than you can consider and you can understand. And they are preparing you for the necessary evil. If you summon the demonic entities and you get what you want, but some aspects of your life start falling apart, it is not malevolent being trying to destroy you. It is a careful wolf mother putting a wolf cub in front of a challenge so he or she can grow up. And what Lilith explained to me is that this adversarial aspect of the path is not some form of blood feud between demons and humans. Quite opposite. It is a necessary preparation you need to go through as a magician, as a practitioner, in order to live in this world. You see, modern human lives and inhabits a delusional mental framework where he claims that there could be a heaven on earth. People discuss things like physical immortality or equality for everyone or other kinds of utopic and idyllic utopias which cannot be true. But the reality is that we will never live on heaven on earth. It's simply against the principles of the world. There will always be adversity, there will always be difficulty. It doesn't matter what you are promised by your states, by your media, by your corpocratic overlords. There will never be a heaven on earth. Every time is difficult with its own trials and tribulations. And every human being, if he truly or she truly wants to succeed, has to pass through enormous trials. And so when the demonic entities are trialing you, they are essentially preparing you for greatness. They always give you the tools necessary to pass the trial. Unfortunately, some individuals do not acknowledge that and they simply crumble because they fail to use the tools given to them. But at the end of the day, it is not the responsibility of the demonic host, it is the responsibility of the human who failed to use the tools given and apply them to solve the problem. And that's simply the nature of adversarial left-hand path. You will be tested. It doesn't mean that entities don't care. It doesn't mean that in the case of dire need, they will not intervene without any offering or sacrifice. They will intervene without any offering or sacrifice in the state of dire need. But you need to understand the nature of this path. Now, I need to correct myself and I need to say that yes, if you are not in the state of dire need and you are working with the spirits, they will require offerings. They will require something to be done in return for them, and that's simply the nature of their kind and energy, but it doesn't mean that they are not caring and they don't care about you. It simply means that their perception of care is different than ours. And they actually consider the human perception of care to be flawed. And Lilith actually compared the human perception of care to the care spider gives to his prey. That's our perception of care. Because the only instance in which we are completely guarded by the external from the external world is when you will be eaten by your guardian. The only time when sheep is completely protected is if they have a shepherd. And we all know that shepherd at the end of the day wants to milk the sheep. And so our human perception of care, which is if somebody cares about us, he will protect us from everything. That's what majority of people consider to be care. Is really deeply flawed. And Lilith is the opposite. If she cares about someone, she will teach them a bunch of shit and throw them into a bunch of shit. That's how Lilith shows care. And unfortunately, majority of people are not ready for that care. Majority of people start blaming Lilith instead of themselves when shit actually starts to happen. And so that's what she wanted to tell me because a lot of people misunderstood my latest videos and my latest claims, and so Lilith wanted me to clarify those things. It was really kind of difficult experience to me, to just be woken up and you're able to move, you are able to go around, but you are not able to speak. It was really kind of interesting and it really showed me what to do. And I am literally repeating the things she told me. Also, one really important note is this is what a lot of people don't know is if you call a spirit and if you proclaim that spirit your patron, okay, that has almost the same heaviness and the same impact as the making of the pact. It is really inappropriate to change the patron without asking the previous patron, and it is really inappropriate to all of a sudden turn on your patron. This is some of the most dangerous things you can do. When spirit is proclaimed to be your patron, you essentially allow that entity to guide you spiritually, and the spirit is essentially given certain degree of authority over your life. So, it is a really serious ordeal, and people should be really careful when they choose their patron, and it's really difficult to renounce the patronage or to change the patron without the consent of the previous patron. So this is something people need to be aware of. Choose your patrons carefully and respect them. And your patron has the authority to block you from working with certain entities. That's something Lilith told me, that she technically blocked some of the spirits who tried to reach me, and she also allowed my current path workings to take place. And the reason why she did it is because she, as a main patron of mine, has that level of authority. So this is also something I needed to elaborate to people, and I needed to explain to people, because people don't know this thing. And I was personally unaware of this. So I simply want you guys to understand this. And I want you guys to know this. And there is one last thing I want to teach you in this video, like a form of an exercise. So there is a way you can like significantly link with the spirit of your choice. So you raise the sacred space. Okay, we will use Lilith for this example, because this is mostly Lilith oriented video. But you can do this and use this method on any spirit. So you raise the sacred space, you go into meditation, and you focus on the sigil of the spirit. In this case, the sigil of Lilith. Then you imagine the energy of Lilith coming from the sigil into your energy system, into your aura. And you focus on that for as long as you can. So you literally focus on literal energy transfer between the sigil and your energy system. And through this procedure, you are becoming attuned not only to the entity which is represented by the sigil, but also you become attuned to any entities which are related to that entity, any of his subordinates, any of his related spirits. It's really powerful and simple way to link with the spirits, which I deeply advise. And this is something which can have a great benefit to people. Now there is one last method I can teach you in this video, and that is essentially, once you establish the link, once you establish the transfer, and you do this for about 2 months, what you can do is you can use the same technology to pierce into the realm of the spirit of your choice. So you visualize the sigil in the sacred space, and then when the start of energy transfer happens, when energy starts transferring, then you focus on like a portal, like a black hole of some kind opening within a sigil. And then within your mind, you focus on that black hole expanding, and after some time, you will pierce directly into the spiritual realm of the entity you are linking with, in this case, Lilith. So this is extremely simple yet powerful method which I use now a lot because my circumstances changed, and so the way I approach magic changed. Also, in the next video we will teach you how to dedicate an altar to Lilith, or as I want to call it, meeting place. In the next video I will explain why should altars be called meeting places and not altars, because in reality we don't worship those entities, we simply appreciate their help and exchange things with them. We don't truly see them as some separate gods who should be venerated, we see them as aspects of one primordial whole.